Ladies and gentlemen, spring a time of bloom, warmth, and fresh beginnings. But beneath the beauty lies chilling truths few dare to share. First, the hiker's echo. A woman in Oregon heard her own voice calling for help up in the woods. She was alone. Authorities never found the source. Next, the blooming graveyard. In Pennsylvania, flowers began growing only on one grave each spring. The man buried, a florist, a broken bar who vanished 20 years earlier. Finally, the window whisperer. Every spring night, a child in Vermont heard tapping at her window. Her parents checked, no one there, until they found footprints, a broken bar on the second floor. Spring is a season that evokes feelings of renewal, hope, and gentle warmth. As winter's icy grip loosens, life begins to stir. Trees bloom with delicate flowers, birds return with songs of joy, and the sun stretches its golden fingers further into the day. People feel lighter, more cheerful, and more alive. The world around us seems to reawaken, casting a bright and peaceful spell over everything it touches. But just beyond that vivid green grass, behind the pink blossoms and warm breezes, something else often stirs, something much darker. The brightness of spring can act as a perfect veil, hiding the strange, the unexplained, and the terrifying. It is precisely this contrast that gives certain spring horror stories their disturbing power. Because when fear creeps in under the glow of sunshine and amidst blooming flowers, it feels more wrong, more haunting, and more deeply unsettling. This paradox of terror wrapped in beauty makes the eerie tales of spring all the more chilling. It's easy to expect shadows and horror in this fall, when Halloween looms and the skies darken early. It's easy to prepare for dread in the cold hush of winter. But spring is supposed to be safe, and that illusion of safety makes every whisper in the wind, every flicker in the woods, every tap at the window that much more terrifying. It's a season meant for celebration, for walking in nature, for reconnecting with life itself. So when something goes terribly wrong in the springtime, it feels unnatural. It doesn't belong, and it leaves a deeper scar. The story of the hiker's echo is a perfect example of this haunting contrast. A woman sets out for a solo hike in Oregon, taking advantage of the warmer weather and lush surroundings. The trail is quiet, the forest alive with the scent of pine and the soft hum of insects. Birds chirp in the distance, the leaves rustle gently above. It's the kind of setting that seems almost dreamlike, an escape from the rush of modern life. She walks deeper into the forest, breathing in the fresh air, embracing the solitude. And then she hears her own voice, calling for help. Not once, but again and again, the same desperate cry. She's alone. She knows this. There's no one else on the trail. Yet the voice echoes back with urgency, from a direction she hasn't been. She turns, heart racing. The forest suddenly feels too quiet. The birds stop singing. She tries to rationalize it. Maybe someone's playing a trick. Maybe she's imagining it. But the voice keeps calling, identical to her own. Authorities searched. Of course, nothing was found. No explanation. Just her voice echoing through the trees, calling from somewhere it shouldn't be. The beauty of the forest remains, but for her, it will always be stained with something unnameable, something wrong. Then there's the tale of the blooming graveyard. In a quiet town in Pennsylvania, a local cemetery awakens with spring just like the rest of the countryside. But there's one grave, and only one, that becomes something of an unnatural garden every April. Bright wildflowers bloom over the plot, as strange, vibrant flowers not seen anywhere else in the cemetery. Year after year, without planting, without watering, without explanation. It's the grave of a florist who vanished 2 decades earlier without a trace. His shop had closed overnight, his house abandoned, and nobody was ever found until a shallow grave appeared on the edge of the cemetery with his name on the headstone. No one claimed responsibility. No one admitted to burying him. And yet, each spring, those impossible flowers bloom, and only on his grave. Botanists have examined them, unsure of their origin. No seeds match the type. Some claim they don't even belong in the region. To see something so beautiful, so full of life, growing out of something as grim as death, it creates a strange unease. A lovely sight that leaves a cold feeling behind. The graveyard, normally quiet and gray, becomes a place of wonder and dread. The flowers don't offer peace, they raise questions. Who buried the man? Why do the flowers grow for him, and no one else. Why now? By spring. And then there is perhaps the most deeply unsettling of the three, of the tale known simply as the Window Whisperer. In Vermont, a family moves into a cozy farmhouse just as the snow begins to melt. The daughter, only 7, is thrilled with the wide fields and the animals nearby. She picks wildflowers, draws with chalk on the driveway, and runs through the tall grass in the sun. But then the taping begins. At first, it's quiet, just a light knock at the window late at night. Her parents think it's the wind, or a tree branch. They reassure her, but she insists. It's a person. Every night around the same time, she hears it. Tap, tap, tap. Soft, deliberate. Eventually, she stops sleeping. Her drawings begin to change, from bright flowers and birds to dark shapes with hollow faces. Still, her parents check and find nothing. Then one evening, after another sleepless night, her father inspects the outside of the house in daylight, and there, under her second-floor window, are footprints in the soft spring soil. Human footprints, leading away from the wall. But there's no edge, no ladder, no tree nearby, nothing to climb. The window is too high for someone to reach from the ground, and yet a broken bar. The footprints are real. That contradiction, the impossibility of what they see, shakes them. The taping stops after they move out, but they never find out who or what had been visiting their daughter. And each year when the air warms, the father says he still hears a phantom taping in his dreams. Each of these stories pulls us deeper into the unsettling truth that not everything in spring is as it seems. The contrast between the blooming life of the season and the dark shadows these tales reveal is what makes them so effective. When the sun is shining and the earth is alive, we don't expect to feel fear, but that's what gives these moments their power. The horror hides in plain sight, tucked between daffodils and warm breezes. It's a smile with something wrong behind it, a calm day with a single chilling note buried inside. Spring doesn't just wake up flowers, it wakes up forgotten things, hidden things, things that thrive on the illusion of peace.